Ciao everyone and welcome back to another analysis of the songs of Sanremo Music Festival 2026. Today we are going to talk about the song that ranked 16th. We are past half because, friendly reminder, we have 30 to analyze. And I am talking about Uomo che cade by Tredici Pietro. Now, as usual, let's start with the title, which literally translates as man who falls. So, falling man. In fact, you will see that in my lyrics translation, I keep it as falling man because it is more natural, but just so you know, the literal translation would be man who falls. For the meaning, we have two statements made by the author. One was at the classic presentation we always discuss because, as we said several times, each author, each singer, each performer has to present the competing song they are going to bring on the stage. And in this case, Tredici Pietro said, "From the little I know about life, I think I understood that it's all in the race, it's all in the journey, in seeking things. And then we have this bad habit, we humans, of not being satisfied, of somehow falling back and starting over. So it's about today and living. It's about the hope that we can get up and start over again with greater strength." To highlight this very same point, in another interview to TV Sorrisi e Canzoni, we already mentioned other times TV Sorrisi e Canzoni. It is a magazine specialized in anything happening on the TV. And he said, "This song is about a relationship because you can notice it very clearly also from the music video, for example. But actually, it's about me, about you, about everyone. Those who follow their dreams are destined to fall and get hurt, but that's okay. Life is mostly made up of faults. Successes can be counted on one hand," because in Italian he says i successi possono essere contati sulle dita di una mano, because in Italian we have this idiomatic expression to say that an amount is not as great because you can count it on the fingers of your hand, because generally you have around 10 fingers, so not many. But even our role models are people who have stumbled. If we think about it, Michael Jordan missed more, I don't remember how it is called in English when you, in basket, you manage to put the ball in the basket, but that, then he made. So he missed more than he succeeded. He failed more than he succeeded. And this is pretty much the whole point. It is about one word very loved by the internet, which is resilience, the ability to fail but to come back stronger than ever, just like we like it in Dragon Ball. But what did Lorenzo Coveri said? Because as usual, we also talk about the linguistic analysis of the song. So Lorenzo Coveri said, "Another newcomer, because Tredici Pietro was performing for the first time at Sanremo Music Festival. And another son of an artist. His father is Gianni Morandi. For context, of course, Italians know, but for context, Gianni Morandi is one of the most famous Italian singers. He is very loved, and in fact, we are going to talk about, to spill some tea on this point, but don't worry, we are getting there. Tredici, it seems to be the number of his best friends, Pietro. So his stage name is Tredici Pietro, literally Peter 13 Peter, because he explained that Tredici, so 13, is the number of the friends, but counting him as well. The idea was to put this in name, to never feel alone, because the idea suggested by one of his best friends was to always bring the other 12 with him in the name. That's why 12 plus 1, 13, so 13. A 28 years old rapper and singer songwriter presents himself with a song with a challenging title, written with his mentor Antonio Di Martino, the Di Martino of the duo with Colapesce, the authors of Musica Leggerissima. Two other authors we know also thanks to among the other things, Sanremo Music Festival. It was from some sometime in the past. In fact, we don't have the analysis on the channel, but if you want it, just let me know. I'm going to add it to the list. Anyway, then he says, here too the story stands, with a series of figures and metaphors that are a bit disheveled but effective, excited and talkative, but the song, somewhere between pop and rap, succeeds. So, again, it is a more original topic from a certain point of view, because it's not the classic love song, but it's still a love song. Yes, the topic is another one. The love song is the way it is conveyed, is the story through which the point is conveyed, but still a love song. In fact, not the worst, not the best, a 6.8 like many other songs, so good. All over good. Now, but okay, so it is sort of a love song, but what is the lyrics? Let's go and check. So, let's start with the first verse. We will find a peculiar structure, because at first glance it doesn't seem as peculiar, because we have verse pre-chorus chorus, verse pre-chorus chorus, bridge and chorus. So from this point of view, quite normal, quite easy. However, it is also true that each verse is divided in sections, and through the whole song, the composition of the verses pre-chorus and chorus is not linear. That's why I'm saying you can also notice it in the music. But anyway, lyrics wise, l'imbarazzo che ci sarà tra noi due questa sera sarà bellissimo. Lo aspetto come l'ultima cena. Sarai bellissima, ma è il minimo che aspetto da te. Sarà anche colpa del tuo aspetto, ma di me non ho rispetto. So, let's start with this first section. The awkwardness that there will be between us tonight, it will be beautiful. Probably said with a bit of irony. I'm looking forward to it like the Last Supper. So here definitely we have a certain level of irony, because it's not that you really wait for your Last Supper. Ma è il minimo che aspetto da te, but that's the least I expect from you. Now, here we have a peculiarity. You'll be the most beautiful, but that's the least I expect from you. Now, here we have a peculiarity, as you might have noticed, because we have è il minimo che aspetto da te. Generally, in Italian, we say che mi aspetto da te. So, like, me expecting it from you. So, you are going to be the most beautiful, but it is the minimum that I am expecting from you. Sarà anche colpa del tuo aspetto, ma di me non ho rispetto. It might also be your appearance fault because of your appearance, but I have no respect for myself. And in fact, you can see also in the video that the setting of the song starts with a date, something like that, where basically the author, the singer, is with a model, I think an actress, and they are presenting this dinner together in a parking, by the way. e mi sporco sotto la pelle, ho gli interni neri come una Mercedes. Tu ti sporchi a restare con me e, chiusa in uno specchio, c'è tutto il tuo riflesso e... And I get dirty under my skin. I have black interior like a Mercedes because the interiors are like the inner part of the car. So, for example, the seats, the wheel, like the several parts. You get dirty staying with me and locked in a mirror there is your entire reflection, and because this end transitions works as a bridge towards the pre-chorus, and basically we already have a clear picture of this relationship, or at least we can have an idea of it, where we have the protagonist, so the singing point of view, the point of view of the singer, thinking that the partner is much better than them. And then we have the pre-chorus, which, fun fact, will change. Only the last two lines will be always the same. Cambi forma alle parole come il fumo alle feste. Muovi tutto ciò che è attorno come un dio della notte. Io per te potrei anche perdermi in un gioco di niente. Ma se ti farà male, allora non pensare. So we have this transition towards the pre-chorus. You change shape to words, like smoke at parties. You move everything around like a god of the night. I, for you, could even get lost in a game of nothing. But if it will hurt you, then don't think. So like, don't think about it twice. Go for it. For what? About what? Chiudimi la porta in faccia. Se rivedermi piangere un po' ti rilassa, dimmi che hai troppe cose da dire, cose da fare, fogli bruciare, per rimanere ferma a guardare l'uomo che cade, l'uomo che cade. Now here there is a lot of poetic license being used. So, what shouldn't you think about twice before doing it? Shutting the door in my face if this relationship is hurting you. If seeing me cry a little relaxes you, or relaxes you a little, a bit, tell me you have too many things to say, too many implied things to do, too many sheets of paper to burn. So, like here, fun fact is plural. To stay still to watch the falling man, the falling man. So, just like said in the title. Now, so the situation is that if the relationship is hurting you, if seeing me cry makes you feel better, if you just don't want to stay still and watching me fall over and over again, probably, then shut the door in my face. Just tell me that you have other things, like too many things to say, too many things to do, too many sheets to burn, and like just go. Let me out, like as in let me outside of the relationship with you. Now here it is a bit weird because fogli bruciare technically in Italian doesn't mean anything, okay? Because the correct formula given the whole structure so far would be fogli da bruciare, dimmi che hai troppe cose da dire, troppe cose da fare, dimmi che hai troppi fogli da bruciare. something like this, right? So it is, tell me you have too many things to say, things to do, too many sheets of paper to burn. Why this? I don't know, part of the metaphor, I guess, but yeah, like I would say that here there is a da implied, because the syntax in Italian would be fogli da bruciare, just like you see before, cose da dire, cose da fare, fogli da bruciare. And then we have the second verse, which has a very different structure from the first verse. Now, here is what he sings, but be careful because I will have to reassemble it to explain the meaning. Se solo tu, se solo sapessi che voglio soltanto che resti, andassi via, di questi palazzi non vedo che spenti riflessi, dalla città, che non riposa mai, che brucia ormai, forse sapresti chi sei. Now, here we have two voices alternating, saying two different things. The first thing is, se solo tu andassi via dalla città che non riposa mai, forse capiresti chi sei. And this part is, if only you went away from the city that never rests, perhaps you would know who you are. On the other hand, we have, if you only knew that I only want you to stay, so se solo sapessi che voglio soltanto che resti. And then another sentence, di questi palazzi non vedo che spenti riflessi, and here there is very heavy inversion of words, because if we had to reorder them, would be non vedo che riflessi spenti di questi palazzi. I don't see anything but dull reflections of these buildings. Instead we have of these buildings I don't see anything but dull reflections. This is one of those cases where you can see that in Italian the adjective precedes the noun it is referring to instead of following it. Because as I said, normally the construction would be non vedo che riflessi spenti, not spenti riflessi di questi palazzi. And then we have dalla città, from the city, la città, the city, che non riposa mai, that never rests, from one side, and the city that burns now, that is already burning. So, what is this city? I think that is Milan, because it's either Rome or Milan, because it's like the two main active cities in Italy. So I would say, what is the city that never rests? My first answer is Milan, also because Tredici Pietro has a bit of beef with Milan, because his first experience, he's from Bologna, and when he first moved to Milan, he didn't have a very good relationship with the city, as much as I noticed from the interviews. Then we have again the pre-chorus, and it is completely different except for the two last line. Tu sei la fine del film, la grande esplosione, sei la notte che conquista il giorno, un nuovo colore. Sei la lama trafitta e io il tuo polmone, ma se ti farà male, allora non pensare. This last part is the same, but the first one says, you are the end of the movie, the big explosion. You are the night that conquers the day. Implied, you are a new color. You are the blade pierced, and I am your lung. But if it will hurt you, then don't think about it, don't think about it twice, just like before. And then we have the chorus. And even the chorus changes, because now we add a second part to the chorus. So the first part is exactly the same. Chiudimi la porta in faccia, se rivedermi piangere un po' ti rilassa, dimmi che hai troppe cose da dire, cose da fare, fogli bruciare, per rimanere fermo a guardare l'uomo che cade, l'uomo che cade. Shut the door in my face, if seeing me crying relaxes you a little, tell me you have too many things to say, too many things to do, too many sheets of paper to burn, to stay still to watch the falling man, the falling man. But then we have the second part. And with the second part we have e faccio un'altra figuraccia come un bambino scivolato in una piazza. A volte siamo bravi a sparire per non rischiare di farci male. Se guardi su c'è un uomo che cade, l'uomo che cade, un altro che cade. And I make another fool of myself, like a child slipped in a square. Sometimes we are good at disappearing to not risk getting hurt or hurting each other, because farci male in Italian can be both getting hurt or hurting each other. If you look up, there's a man falling, the man falling, another one falling. Then a little note before proceeding with the bridge, fare una figuraccia. Fare una figuraccia is a idiomatic expression that you can find quite often in Italian that can be translated in English as to make a fool of oneself. It is another variant of fare una brutta figura, and in this case we use a so-called nome alterato, so an altered name, in this case a pejorative, because in Italian we can add suffixes to indicate that something it is big, small, cute, or nasty. In this case is pejorative because it is in the nasty category, figuraccia. And specifically, what does it mean? Literally, to make a bad figure. But why? Now, we cannot be certain 100%, but the origin of the expression appears to be linked to the world of classical dance, where the incorrect execution of a dance figure resulted in a visible error. Then, over time, its use extended to everyday life to indicate any unpleasant social situation. So, where basically you are doing something embarrassing. In this case, the example is a child falling, tripping in a square in front of everybody. That's why I translated as making a fool of oneself. Then we have a brief bridge. Se solo tu andassi via dalla città che fotte l'anima, forse potresti, sì, forse puoi. If only you would go away from the city that fucks the soul, maybe you could, yes, maybe you can. And this connects to the chorus, which is almost the same. What can you do? Chiudimi la porta in faccia. Shut the door in my face. Now, here the chorus is exactly as the second chorus, so the one divided into sections. But there is only one thing that is changing, and it is the second line, because chiudimi la porta in faccia se rivedermi al margine ti scioglie l'ansia. Shut the door in my face if seeing me on the edge melts your anxiety. So again, something that is bad for me makes you feel better. Because before we had se rivedermi piangere un po' ti rilassa. If seeing me cry relaxes you a bit. So again, if seeing me suffering makes you feel better, then this relationship doesn't have a future, and probably it's better for everybody if it stops here. Because there is no point in keep dragging it around. Now, so this was the lyrics. what did we have? Okay, so the easiest one, because we have it during any festival of Sanremo. By the way, this festival was quite lucky because nobody got injured. Because let's remember that last year we had the singer of Moda who fell down the stairs and broke a rib, and Francesca Michelin who also fell down the stairs and broke her ankle. This time nobody fell down the stairs, or at least nobody got injured by falling down the stairs. But the technical issues, we always have them, and it is normal because in an event like that, having everything going perfectly smoothly, it is nearly impossible. Nothing too big, but the one this in 2026 Sanremo Music Festival edition who opened the season of technical issues was in fact Tredici Pietro, because during the first night he starts with the first verse who's rapped. He was rapping, but the microphone wasn't working, so you could hear the music but not his voice. And it was funny because he was trying to rap, but he couldn't because, well, the microphone wasn't working. So happens to the best of us. Then, however, the big controversy was about cover night. As I usually explain, cover night is the fourth night of over the 5 nights of Sanremo Music Festival, where the participants do not perform the song they are participating with into the competition, but they sing another song or a medley. It depends. The important thing is they bring something else, anything but not the track with which they are competing. Now, there was a lot of discussion because, as I said, Tredici Pietro is the child of Gianni Morandi. So many people, of course, keep comparing him to the father, because if your father is a great musician, generally this can happen in many domains and sectors, but generally if you have a famous parent and you are trying to do basically the same job they are doing, there will be a part comparing it to them. So of course there are people saying, oh, actually the child is much more arrogant than the parent. Gianni Morandi is much more humble and much more and much nicer, and it's even better, or like this. Like, sadly, it's not nice, but it happens. However, generally people were quite happy about the debut on the stage of Sanremo Music Festival, but to a little bit face this issue, to address this issue, he decided to perform a track by his father, with his father, during cover night. And you might think, oh well, but if everything went well, there isn't much tea. And no, because it's not that easy. The problem wasn't even about the song, was about generally the participation of Gianni Morandi. Why? Because you might say, but Silvia, like, he was singing, he was invited to sing with Tredici Pietro. What is the problem? What is the problem? You have to know that there is another child artist in this Sanremo Music Festival 2026. And it is the I don't remember where it ranked, but quite low. That's why we didn't see the song yet. And it is Leo Gassman. Now, Leo Gassman is not the child of a singer, is the son of an actor. So what happened? It happened that, allegedly, so Alessandro Gassman, the father of Leo Gassman, competing this year, accused the organization of the festival of being unfair. Why? Because the actor criticized the decision of letting Gianni Morandi participating because it said that these are unfair rules because the rules are not the same for everybody. I wanted to attend the festival to present my new TV series, Warriors, but I was not allowed to because I am the father of a competitor, of a participant. However, the organizer, Carlo Conti, the organizer of the festival, said, but actually, the artistic director, the rules do not prohibit singers' relatives from appearing on stage. And in fact, Gianni Morandi was not even the only one. Saif's mother was, of course, was at certain point part of the performance of Saif, and Serena Brancale had as orchestra director her sister. So Carlo Conti said a miscommunication issue, I guess, misunderstanding sort of situation. And then like people were saying, oh, but because Alessandro Gasman is actually jealous because Gianni Morandi is much nicer. Alessandro Gasman said, no, actually, I'm not personally angry against Morandi. It's just that I even liked the performance with Tredici Pietro. It's just that it looked unfair to me. Everybody also said, yeah, but like, brother in Christ, all the other cases were bringing the relatives on the stage as a part of the performance. In the case of Tredici Pietro, of course, Gianni Morandi also sang. In the case of Serena Brancale, the sister was the orchestra director. In the case of Saif, it was the scenic presence because the mother wasn't singing. Also the grandmother, he also brought the grandmother, if I remember correctly. But yeah, like while Alessandro Gasman just wanted to do basically advertisement for his own TV series, so you can understand that it's not really the same thing, right? So like I guess the problem is that the festival of the Sanremo Music Festival didn't want to promote the series simply because they had other guests previewed, so yeah, I think it was because of that. But hey, anyway, this is everything I had to say about Uomo che Cade by Tredici Pietro. Let me know in the comments what you think about this song. That said, I hope you enjoyed. Grazie everyone for watching and arrivederci.